Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience with LASIK. I am 1 week post LASIK today, so if you're here for my normal food and fitness stuff, this isn't the video for you. So I had LASIK eye surgery a week ago today. Today's Tuesday, and I'm going to talk about the pre-op procedure, the day of surgery, and what this week has been like. So the long and short of it is that it's amazing. I can see this is just like the most incredible experience I've ever had, and I would absolutely recommend it to anyone. So my vision had been really bad since I was a little kid, right? I started wearing glasses when I was 8, and I think contacts when I was maybe 10, and my vision progressively kept getting worse until about the age of 31. Every year it was worse, which was actually quite sad. So how do you know if you're a candidate for LASIK? I always wanted LASIK, but my doctors recommended that I wait until my vision stopped changing for at least 2 or 3 years before having the surgery, because if you do it while your vision's still changing, obviously you do it and then your vision changes, and that's kind of a waste. So I just waited and waited until my vision stopped changing. I'm 34 now. About 3 years ago, when I was 31, I went to the eye doctor and my vision had finally stopped changing. For some people, that happens much earlier in life, for some people later. So it really just depends. I had a prescription of 675 in both eyes with astigmatism of 0.25 and 1.25. So I was nearsighted and had astigmatism. So I finally became a candidate for LASIK about 3 years ago, and it took me about 3 years to work myself up to having the surgery. You know, there are many YouTube videos out there that show what surgery is like the actual surgery, and I watched a bunch of those and freaked myself out. But I also spent the time doing research, talking to different people who had had it done, what their experiences were like, what to expect, what questions to ask the doctor. And here locally, I live in New Orleans, talking to different people who had gone to different surgeons. So if you're in the New Orleans area, I went with Dr. Jeffrey Singer. If you're around here, you've almost certainly heard of him. I think he's the most popular, and with good reason. The experience was fantastic. So some surgeons will, there's variability in what different surgeons offer. Some surgeons, for example, in their pricing will include free lifetime revisions, and I thought that was great. Dr. Singer does not offer that because he's actually priced a little bit lower than many other surgeons. So at first I was like, I don't know if I should go with the guy who's a little cheaper, but I think not always does higher price correlate with better results. Like I said, I talked to a lot of friends locally, and especially friends who are in the medical profession. I trust their experience and their expertise a lot when it comes to other medical decisions, and they had all gone with him and had really fantastic results. So with my particular surgeon, revisions are not included, but it's because he's priced a little bit lower. So if your vision does change 10 or 15 years down the road and you need a revision surgery, then you just pay for it again. But hopefully that won't happen. Another thing that is important to note about LASIK is that it's good for people who are nearsighted or have astigmatism. It does not correct farsightedness. That is, if you need readers to see up close, that's not corrected. I have never needed readers, but I know that's a thing that just naturally happens basically to everyone later in life. So even though I've had LASIK, it's possible and probable that I will need readers in my 40s or maybe 50s if I get lucky. But that's unrelated to the LASIK procedure. LASIK, I believe, doesn't fix farsightedness. It's only for nearsightedness and astigmatism. So I finally decided in 2019 that 2020 was going to be the last year I would wear contacts and glasses. So my doctor's appointment is usually in December. So when I got my next year's worth of contacts in December of 2019, I said to myself, I'm only buying 1 more year's worth of contacts, and when they run out, and I'm getting LASIK. So December 2020 came around, I used up my last pair of contacts and made the appointment, the pre-op testing appointment with my surgeon. So I went in mid-December, I think a little bit before Christmas, to his office, and you don't have to take your current prescription with you because they do all of the testing in-house. So his particular office really only does LASIK and cataract surgeries. In fact, he recommends that I continue going back to my old eye doctor for my annual exams, because even after LASIK, you still need checkups to ensure the health of your eyes. So that was something that I hadn't really thought about. I thought, okay, I'm good to go now. I don't need to go to the eye doctor. No, I will still continue to go to an eye doctor every year just to ensure that everything is good and healthy. But his particular office, and again, different surgeons operate differently, his particular office only does LASIK and cataract surgeries. So I didn't necessarily need to bring my prescription with me. When I went, they did all of the normal vision exams that you've had done. So like the eye charts and the little airplane and like all the things, in addition to a test I had never had done before. So the most important test that they do before LASIK is to measure the thickness of your cornea. So really one of the only things that might disqualify somebody from being a candidate for LASIK is if their cornea isn't thick enough or fatty enough. Fatty is the term that is officially used, apparently, that you want to have a fatty cornea in order to be a candidate. So I think if your cornea is not as thick, there are other options. I think PRK or bladeless LASIK is an option for people with thinner corneas, but if it's too thin, you just don't qualify. So after they did all the normal vision testing, they did this test, which was pretty weird. So before the appointment, they had told me I would need somebody to drive me home. And I asked, is this because of dilation? You know, at the normal eye doctor, after they dilate your eyes, you like sit in a dark room, wear the sunglasses and go home and it's fine. They said, yeah, it's a different kind of dilation. You won't be able to drive. You need somebody with you. And I thought that was kind of weird until they put these drops in my eyes. So this is actually cyclodilation. And all I can say is those drops were intense. Like, they kind of made me feel like I was very drunk. I don't know. They put these drops in my eyes and they dilated my eyes and completely numbed my eyes. And I mean, this thing could be a party drug. Like, what a weird experience. Like, I immediately felt like I had to hold on to the chair to not fall out of it. So they did the test for the thickness of my cornea, and you like put your chin on the thing and it's just a bright light. And I think they actually touch your eye with an instrument that works via ultrasound. I'm not sure, not a medical professional here, but I believe it's like an ultrasound measurement of the thickness of your cornea. So I guess that's why they have to do this special dilation, like super intense stuff, because they are actually like touching your eye and measuring the thickness of your cornea. So in my case, my cornea was good and fatty, and that means that I was a candidate. So then they told me what to do to prepare for surgery. So leading up to surgery, if you don't have astigmatism, you can't wear your contacts for 2 weeks before the surgery. If you do have astigmatism, you can't wear your contacts for 3 weeks leading up to surgery. So I stopped wearing my contacts, I think, right after Christmas, and gave myself a full 3 weeks, glasses only, before my surgery. And the reason for that is, I think, to just relax your eye muscles. And also, if you have astigmatism, you usually wear toric lenses, so astigmatism is if your eyeball isn't spherical, it's more like football shaped. And I think the toric lenses like suction your eyeball into the right shape. So that's why 3 weeks, no lenses if you have astigmatism, I guess, so your eye could like go back to its natural shape. I don't know, clearly not a medical professional here. So those 3 weeks were fine, glasses only. If you've been around here for a while, I kind of go back and forth with glasses and contacts, except that working out with glasses was not exactly fun. Cardio classes were annoying with glasses, but swimming without glasses or contacts was a very weird experience. So anyway, I powered through. And they had told me in advance that after LASIK, I would be able to go back to exercising just 2 days after surgery, but no swimming or hot tubs or anything like that for at least 3 weeks post-surgery. So, I like to swim a lot, so I really kind of relish those last couple of weeks of swimming, because now I'm in a 3-week period where I can't swim. So then, leading up to surgery day, my surgery was a week ago, last Tuesday. My appointment was for 10:30, so I woke up normal time. I actually requested off of work Tuesday and Wednesday, so surgery day and the day after. And if you can, that's what I would recommend. Some people say they go back to work the very next day, but I very much appreciated having the next day to just kind of relax my eyes and keep them closed for a while. I'll get to that in a second. But anyway, so I had requested Tuesday and Wednesday off. So Tuesday morning, I woke up normal time, had my normal breakfast, and then we went to the appointment. And these people obviously know what they're doing. As soon as you walk in on your surgery day, they handed me a Valium. I had never taken a Valium before, so I didn't exactly know what to expect. I was a little nervous, but not too bad. You know, I had gotten over the hump of being really freaked out about all this. But, I took it and appreciated it anyway, and it really just made me sleepy. Also, as soon as I walked in, I took off my glasses and gave them to my husband. And my surgery didn't actually happen until 1 p.m. So it was about 2.5 hours of no glasses at all, also to further relax your eye muscles. But my vision is so bad, or was so bad, that I really just couldn't see anything for 2.5 hours. And with the Valium, I think I just zoned out. I think my brain kind of disconnected because I couldn't see. And it made me really sleepy. I think I actually fell asleep between tests at some point, which was weird because I had just woken up 2 or 3 hours prior. But anyway, so after they gave me the Valium, then they proceeded to do all of the vision exams again. All of them, just to ensure that the prescription that they had determined 3 weeks prior was correct, that nothing had changed in between appointments, that they had all of the measurements right. They were super, super meticulous in making sure that they have the right prescription for you. So, it's very much like you go to this room, you do a test, and then you wait. Then you go to another room, you do this test, and then you wait. And then you go to this room, and it's like the operating room. Oh boy. Actually, right before the surgery, I met with the surgeon and asked him a few more questions. I asked him, and I knew the answer here, but I asked him, so you're not actually operating the machine, right? Physically, lasering my eyes, right? He was like, no, it's programmed into a machine. I control and operate the machine, but it's all programmed. And I said, so what if you sneeze? And he said, oh, the machine tracks your eye movement up to 2 millimeters. So it will track with you if your eye moves slightly, but if you move a lot, it just stops until it retracts your eye. And I said, no, doc, I meant what if you sneeze, not what if I sneeze. I hadn't even thought about that. And he said, oh no, I'm not touching or controlling the machine in that way. And then he said, I don't think I've ever sneezed during a surgery. And this is a man who has done over 90,000 eyes, LASIK and cataract. So very, very, very experienced. And actually, right before he put these numbing drops in my eyes, and actually with a Sharpie marked dots on the outsides of my pupils. I think this helps direct the machine. But that was so weird because at that point my eyes were totally numb. I felt nothing. So we walked into the operating room, and it was a flat table, kind of like a dentist chair, but totally flat, and a big machine off to the side with an arm, kind of almost a big machine. So almost like a, I don't know, like CAT scan or MRI or something, but not a tube, not enclosed, just like a big arm that came up over my head. So I'm laying back and the arm is this way. So he did my right eye first. He put a patch over my left eye, just like a Band-Aid, big Band-Aid patch. And on my right eye, he put this spring-loaded mechanical device to hold my eye open. And it's weird because you were fully awake for all of this. Oh, and the nurses had given me little squeezy balls to hold on to and squeeze if I got nervous. And it's kind of like at the dentist, even if you're relaxed on a logical level, sometimes you have some tension that you're holding in your body. So the squeezy balls were great. And so the surgeon was right behind me, and the machine was up over my head. And so first he put the spring-loaded thing on my eye to hold it open. And then a thing came really close to my eye, and it suctioned my eye a little bit. And he told me, it's all going to go black. Let me know once it's fully black. And sure enough, my vision kind of closed in and it went fully black. And I said, okay, now. And zzz, they cut your cornea open. So I'm not gonna get real graphic. And if you wanna see how the surgery is actually done, again, there are tons of videos on YouTube that actually show you. But basically they slice your cornea open and lift up the flap, do the surgery, and close it up again, so that's how LASIK works. So anyway, the machine, and everybody had told me that I would smell burning. And I did, but it was very, very mild. I was expecting more intense. If you've ever burned your hair with like a curling iron or straightening iron or something like that, that smell is much more intense than what I smell when my cornea was cut. So it was very mild. So then I guess the cutting machine went away because now I could see again, not like with clear vision, but with light. It was no longer all dark. And he lifted the corneal flap, which was a weird feeling because, again, you're awake, but you don't feel anything. It almost looked and felt like if you've ever gotten a contact lens stuck as you're like trying to pull it out of your eye and it's just like in the wrong position and it's just like hanging out. If you've worn contacts for a while, you know what I'm talking about. So corneal flaps over here, and then there's a big square with a whole bunch of like a grid of lights and one green light in the middle. And he said, okay, just look, stare straight at the green light. And then LASIK was performed. And the machine actually says out loud, 23 seconds to completion. And you're like, all right, it's just gonna be 23 seconds. You just breathe through it and you just stare at the green light. You just keep staring. And at first I was trying really hard not to blink. But then I realized like this spring-loaded thing is holding my eye open. So I also it released that like facial tension, if you're like trying not to blink, that like causes some tension in your face. So I allowed myself to blink, and I was effectively just blinking the eye that was patched. This eye was held open, the one that was being operated on. So 23 seconds passed, the thing gets lifted away from your head. The surgeon used a little instrument to just like close my corneal flap, and then he puts a clear contact lens over my whole eye just as protection. And that's it. And they put the patch over this eye, spring load on this eye, and do the whole thing over again. From start to finish, it was maybe 5 minutes, if that. So then they say, okay, you can sit up, you're done. And I sat up and I could see. It was incredible. Not like perfectly. It was a little blurred, as if I had like dirty glasses on, like clear but dirty glasses on. But I could mostly see, and I couldn't believe it because the last 2.5 hours I hadn't been able to see anything. So that was amazing. Then they walked me into a separate little office and he tested, not my eyesight, but he looked at my eyes to make sure that everything looked okay. And then they sent me home. And my husband had been waiting for me. He drove home. I didn't feel particularly sensitive to light. Oh, wait. Before they sent me home, they put these eye patch things, these clear guards over my eyes, and they taped the ever-loving hell out of them, like all the way around my face. And honestly, like the worst part of the whole LASIK experience was peeling this stupid tape off of my face because they use this like medical grade tape and it's strong. So anyway, they put these over my eyes and then sent me home. So again, this is like dirty glasses, so even if your vision's perfect, if you're looking through these, it's not exactly clear. So my husband drove us home. On the way home, we stopped and picked up a prescription. They gave me a prescription for corticosteroid drops, antibiotic drops, and this was over the counter, just artificial tears. And they gave me a prescription for 5 Ambien. So they sent me home, told me to start the antibiotic drops that day. Don't start the steroids until the following day. And these were supposed to be once an hour, every hour that I was awake, but don't like wake up for it. So I got home, took an Ambien, and went to sleep. I'd never taken an Ambien before. And at this point, it's like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I wasn't particularly tired. So I took an Ambien and still had those goggles over my face. I actually put a beanie on too and like pulled it down real low so it would be extra dark in the room, even though my bedroom's already really dark with the curtains closed. So I just laid down and I slept for like 3 or 4 hours. Then I woke up, mostly kept my eyes closed, just kind of out of fear, hesitation, I don't know, but I started doing my drops once an hour and I was awake until maybe 9 p.m. Just kind of hung out. My husband read a book to me, which was really sweet. I listened to music, and then at 9 o'clock, I took another Ambien and went back to sleep. So still with the face shield, still with the beanie. and I slept until, the next morning. And then I had a follow-up appointment with the surgeon. So at my follow-up, he used a little, not his fingers, he used a device to take my clear contact lenses out, which were supposed to be, protective material. And then they tested my vision. And on that day, the first day after LASIK, my left eye was already 20/20, my right eye was 20/40. But it does take actually up to 6 months to fully heal. And I've personally talked to folks who said even a month post-op, they continued experiencing improvements in their vision. So it's an interesting experience. Still to this day, 1 week post-op, this eye is totally perfect, 100%. This eye, it's mostly perfect. Like if I were approaching my eye exam, I would say, yeah, I maybe need a new contact lens or a new prescription for this eye. It's close, but not quite. It's just a tiny bit blurry. But with both eyes together, I can see just fine, which is amazing. So that day, the first day post-op after visiting him, I started doing, they told me to do these each at least 4 times a day, but the more frequently the better, but not more frequently than every 2 hours for each one. So I set an alarm on my phone to go off once an hour, and I actually wrote odd and even on the bottles. So on the odd hours I was doing this one, on the even hours I was doing this one, and then the artificial tears are supposed to go just like all day, every day, all the time, but not within 5 minutes of either of these. So I'm just diligent with the alarm, and Wednesday I wasn't wearing the eye shields anymore, and I could see, and no sensitivity to light, and just an incredible experience. I did feel like there was kind of something in my eye, which is totally normal because your cornea is healing. So totally normal to feel like there's something in there. I didn't experience any dryness at all, which some people report dryness or itchiness. I didn't feel any of that. I just felt like there was something in my eye. So lots of drops all the time. And the next day after that, on the Thursday, my surgery was on the Tuesday. On the Thursday, I felt no discomfort whatsoever. It didn't feel like there was something in my eye. Like since then, I've continued with all the drops, and I have not felt like there's anything in my eye, no discomfort. I can see. It's absolutely amazing. So the first 3 nights after LASIK, you sleep with the eye shields. So Tuesday night, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I slept with the eye shields, and I just put like a headband over my eyes. So I tried to use less tape, but I put the headband over so like in case they moved, whatever. But on Thursday, I also went to the gym. I did a step aerobics class, which I really always enjoy doing. And they had told me I was cleared to exercise as long as I was very diligent to not get any sweat in my eyes. So obviously we're trying to not have a infection, no bacteria. So I just dabbed around my eyes, made sure that no sweat was getting in my eyes, and it was totally fine. Then I came home and tried to shower and wash my hair for the first time post LASIK, and that was really tough. At the surgeon's office, the nurse had told me to just like lean back and put your hands like this. Well, that didn't work for me. Water was still like splashing. Obviously, you don't want to get soap in your eyes or even tap water because of potential bacteria and infection. And I tried real hard to not get water in my eyes, but it was splashing and it burned. And so I was like putting drops in and I got out real fast and it was difficult. Since then, I have learned that if I just wear swim goggles, it's fine. I wear swim goggles on the days that I'm not washing my hair, and I can even like wash my face, which is great because I had all that like gunk from the tape. And even if I am washing my hair, if I put the strap like real low, as long as there's a seal around my eyes, I'm not like suctioning real tight or anything. It's just like covering my eyes. And I put the strap real low, I'm able to wash my hair. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the next foreseeable future. I don't know how long. They do also very much recommend that you don't like rub your eyes at all. If you put in eye drops and there's like some dripping, you just like dab underneath. You don't like touch over your eyes because, like I said, that corneal flap takes about 6 months to fully heal. And until then, I'm not going to be touching my eye at all. So a few things I would have done before, like immediately before surgery, if I had thought about it or known, I would have washed my hair like right before so I could last a little bit longer without washing it again, because that first hair wash was a little traumatic. And if you do any kind of eyebrow maintenance, waxing or threading or whatever, you might want to do that right before as well, because those often involve like some amount of pressure to your eyeball, which I'm not willing to do for at least the next 6 months. So just be tweezing for now. But I haven't done that yet. I don't know. I'm a week post-op. I'm still like not touching this area at all. And I'm even like trying to keep my hair out of my eyes and stuff like that, because you don't want the flap to get out of position or to wrinkle. I think from what I've read, that's very unlikely. They even say not to squeeze your eyes real hard. And if you're the kind of person who like sneezes a lot, sometimes that happens. I think the real risk of that is only at the very, very beginning. But anyway, so for the next 6 months, I'm not touching my eyes, no pressure to my eyes, no rubbing my eyes, no anything. But I don't have to sleep with the shields at night anymore. And so I think that means I'm kind of out of the danger zone in terms of like most at risk for that sort of trauma happening. But that's it. I'm done. I can see I'm still doing the drops. Both of my prescription bottles have almost run out, and that's it. When they run out, we're done. No like refills or anything. So I'm just going to continue with the artificial tears, they said, for 6 months. And I've even, I can drive. I've driven at night and no like nighttime halos or anything like that. So I'm so happy with my experience. I couldn't recommend it highly enough. My particular surgeon offers like normal LASIK, HD, like high def LASIK, and then the bladeless, I think PRK for the people who have the thinner corneas. And I don't know if all places offer this or have that kind of differentiation, but I asked him what the difference between the normal one and the high def one was, and he said basically it's different operating software on their machine, but the result is that with the high def one, it's a little more expensive, but you have fewer halos at night around lights. And I had heard from some people that was kind of the only downside to LASIK. So that and like dry eyes. So I decided to go with the high def one. It was, just a little bit more expensive, but I have already driven at night and have not experienced any halos at all. So very, very happy with my decision, very happy with my particular surgeon's work. And I go back to him in 1 month for a 1 month follow-up. And then I think again after 6 months, and then I'm done seeing him. I will go back to my normal eye doctor for annual exams. So I will check back in with you guys after my 1 month appointment, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. If you want to leave them down here, I'll either answer them in the comments or in the next video. So thanks so much for watching.